throughout the duration of the video. Why is it important that you were speaking with him?
So, trying to establish where this actually occurred. And asking him, he told me stories, he's unfamiliar with the area. So every time you see him going like this, he's finishing the story, but every time I'm asking him and trying to ask him if he recognizes certain landmarks, and obviously we worked for the city for a while, so I'm very familiar with geography. With several highways that go through the city. So I'm asking him specifically, asking him about the landmarks, so he can narrow down which highway he actually came off of.
And was that information ultimately information that was conveyed to the other Miramar police officers?
Yes. So that particular night, the way our schedule works, it's a overlap with both of our overnight shifts. So at that point, you have about approximately anywhere between 15 to 20 officers working the road. So because of that nature of the call, the entire city will be responding to various job duties. So several will come to the actual hospitals or that crime scene, and as well as the primary officer take over the investigation and detectives, and you have everybody else canvassing for evidence. So you have from east to west, State Road 7, University, there's an exit for the turnpike, there's an exit for the turnpike on Red Road, and then I-75 and US 27. So everybody that wouldn't be at the hospital will be canvassing those intersections, major highways, to see if they can find shell casing that would be evidentiary of where this occurred.
Okay. And did you remain on scene even after the video ended, the duration of the video where other police officers arrived?
Yes, so my detail work is until 6 a.m. and accidents happen at 4 changes, so I'll be there until 6.
Were you charged with any other investigative duties?
No.
So this ends your involvement in the case?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, no further questions.
Any questions?
Yes.
Okay. Officer, when this person you've identified as Mr. Henry came in, did you notice that he was wearing a black hoodie?
Yes, sir.
And I assume that whatever he said would be documented in your report. Is that correct?
What was said initially, yes.
And the questions that you asked him, he would document his responses if he said anything, correct?
Whatever he responded to, I put out an entry lesson on the radio, but I did not write the report of our entire dialogue, no.
You did not.
Our entire dialogue, no.
You did not document the location or streets, signs in your report?
I didn't know exactly where this took place, so whatever I could put on the radio, I'll just canvas, I did.
Approximately what time was Mr. Henry taken to a patient room?
I don't know.
Were you aware he was taken to a patient room?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what officers or what doctors saw him?
This is sad. I feel sorry for
Were
Melly.
you present when Mr. Henry?
Let's all pray for Melly.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware that he left the house?
Eventually,
Hashtag free Melly.
When this vehicle first arrived, it was nighttime, correct?
Yes, sir.
What time did you get off?
6 a.m.
Was it still dark outside?
I don't recall.
Do you recall anybody or any persons arriving other than police officers?
It's a hospital. They remember them shutting down the ER because of the situation. So anybody we routed to the main hospital entrance to in and out. But in terms of law enforcement staff, you can have other officers, detectives, crime scene techs.
I'm primarily asking you, by the time you got off at 6 a.m., did you see any civilians, not police officers, any civilians arrive at the house?
I don't recall. Like that they did, they could have rerouted to the front.
Okay, but to your knowledge, there were no civilians that came where you were, correct?
Inside the crime scene?
No, inside the hospital, where you saw Mr. Henry walking towards your desk, words to that.
So like I explained, the hospital entrance, the ER was shut down because of the nature of the crime scene. So it's still a hospital, so anybody who Googles it, it's open. So I mean, civilians could have walked into the ER or rerouted to the front. I was in charge of the crime scene, I have no idea if anybody passed the threshold of the crime scene into that particular
The
area.
crime scene was the Jeep.
The drive-through, so including the Jeep.
Was the crime scene also inside the hospital where Mr. Portland Henry was?
Did they want you all to shut down?
Okay, so in other words, no one was allowed in that area that we saw.
Unless they were needing emergency care, that was another room, but the ER was shut down.
So I'm real clear. Do you know, the names of all, did you document the names of all the officers and detectives that responded?
No, I didn't.
You should've.
So we're perfectly clear. You stand up. You didn't see this young man getting out of the Jeep at any time, correct?
No, sir.
Fair enough. You have one more?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Nice meeting you.
Yes, Your Honor, briefly. Officer, when you're speaking into your radio or speaking to dispatch, is that logged in Indiana?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that called?
That's the central dispatch radio traffic, all the records that are invited for requests, when they stop.
So everything you were saying or everything you communicated from what Mr. Henry told you would be documented in your dispatch log.
Yes, ma'am.
The crime scene log that counsel just referred to as, were you charged, was that one of your tasks that you were assigned?
No, ma'am.
In fact, you weren't assigned any duties, correct?
No, ma'am.
Your, job began and ended with your detail and assisting, the gentleman in the Mr. Portland Henry.
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing further.
Council, thank you. Is this witness excused?
Yes, sir.
May step down.
Free Melly.
Or go to the next witness?
Typical job.
Free Melly. This is a sad case. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Miss Spaz. Look at him over there, looking so sexy. I feel sorry for this young black man.
Good morning. Yes, sir. Welcome. This is our witness stand. I'm Sean Derbyshire. When you get here, just remain standing. Raise your right hand, be sworn.
Do solemnly swear or affirm that someone who should give this speech that you state your full name.
Full name is John Hershman.
Please spell your first and last name.
J-O-H-N. And the last name is.
You can look at him and tell he about to lie.
Have a seat.
That microphone in front of you, do not move back or forth. Just over there.
Yes, sir.
You all set?
Yes, sir.
Councilman?
Thank you. Good morning, Officer Hudson. How are you today?
Good morning, Harry.
Very well, thank you for asking. Where do you work?
Currently employed with Boca Raton Police Department,
How long have you worked for the Boca Raton Police Department?
going on 4 years.
What hats have you worn at Boca?
When I first started, I was assigned to road patrol, and now I'm assigned to their tactical team.
Prior to joining the Boca Raton Police Department, have you had any other law enforcement experience?
Yes, with Marijuana Police Department,
How long were you with the Maryland Police Department?
a little over 2 years.
Get the likes up.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the type of training and education you had before becoming a police officer with Maryland.
Yes.
Subscribe to my channel if you're new to my channel.
In the academy, once I got
Get the likes up,
um,
share and comment.
My FTO with Marijuana Police Department, and then throughout my time with them, getting service training, which is additional training, on top of all this.
Any particular reason for switching to the Boca Raton Police Department?
Just personal reasons.
Back on October 26th of 2018, were you employed by the Maryland Police Department?
Yes.
What was your job description?
Road patrol.
Do you remember what shift you were working?
Yes, night shift.
And can you describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what is the alpha or night shift?
Night shift, 12 midnights. I worked from 9 p.m. to 7 in the morning.
On October 26th of 2018, do you have an agent to respond to Memorial Marijuana Hospital?
Yes.
Why did you go there?
That was my assigned zone for the night. So I had to respond to them.
explain to ladies and gentlemen what you mean by a sign zone.
Each officer is assigned a zone for a specific area in the city. And Memorial Regional, or Miramar Memorial, happened to be my zone.
Do you recall about what time you arrived at the hospital?
Around 4:30 in the morning.
When you arrived, what did you see?
When I got there, I saw an SUV in the Sally Port area of the entrance of the hospital, emergency, bay. The doors were open to the vehicle. So I got out of the vehicle, I immediately saw the hospital staff running back and forth to the vehicle. So I went over to assist them. When I got to the vehicle, I saw two victims, one in the right passenger seat, one in the back right passenger seat. Appeared to be suffering from gunshot wounds. So what I did is assist hospital staff with quickly getting them to the stretcher and into the hospital to receive medical treatment.
After you did that, what was your job assignment there at the hospital?
After that, I stayed by the vehicle. At that point, we had a crime scene. So I started a crime scene log and stayed by the vehicle to make sure no one tampered with anything or anything of that nature.
When you said you started your crime scene log, you explained to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that is and how it works.
Crime scene log basically for this particular incident. One of the officers that arrives on scene, preferably one of the first officers that arrives on scene, starts a log. The log basically starts logging people in and out that will enter the crime scene. The crime scene being, will set up crime scene tape. Anyone who enters the tape will get logged.
And did you do that in this case?
Yes.
Okay, do you have a copy of that crime scene log with you?
Yes, I do.
Could you be so kind as to name the individuals that are documented on your crime scene log?
Yes. First officer would be Officer Mangor.
When you do the documentation, do you put the times at which they enter and leave?
Yes.
Do you put a reason as to why they are on the crime scene?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, as to Miss Officer Allen, what time did you arrive?
I believe she was already on scene. She was the detail officer, so on the actual crime scene, I just have her listed as the detail officer.
And then next officer that is documented,
Officer Torres,
after that,
myself,
after that,
Officer Cox,
after that,
Officer Luna.
and in terms of the time frame that we're at now, are we still before 5 a.m.?
Yes.
So after Officer Luna, who's next?
Officer Malad,
Who else?
Officer Valdez,
And the next person on the list, who is that?
Holly Henderson, who is a security officer.
Do you document that purpose there?
Yes.
With regards to the time out, for Officer Allen, you document on there what time she left at?
I believe she stayed, that's the time I was there, and I was relieved by another officer on scene who took over the crime scene log.
And do you recall about what time you turned over the crime scene log?
I believe it was around 6:30.
Can you tell there's some handwriting on the log as to which entries are yours and which are from someone else?
Yes.
So continuing on to the next officer or employee of Miramar Police Department that you documented on the crime scene log,
Sergeant Worth,
then who?
Officer Herrera,
After that, the next two detectives, who did you document?
Detective Bertland, and Detective Moretti.
And as to those two detectives, what are the time of arrival for Bertrand?
Time in is 5:53, and Detective Moretti was at 6:02.
After that, there's another officer that's listed, who comes next?
Officer Campbell,
After Officer Campbell, is that still on your handwriting or is that going to someone else?
I believe this goes to someone else.
Okay, so you stop at Detective already at 6:02 a.m.
Yes.
So in terms of the crime scene, you said it was the area around the Jeep. Do you document each and every individual who's coming into the hospital?
No, we do not.
What types of things do you do to ensure scene security?
crime scene tape, making sure people don't cross the crime scene tape, and then in and out of the hospital.
Did any civilians try and cross the crime scene tape while you were there on the outside?
There may be one or two that came up that we told them they can't come through.
And when I say civilians, are you including in that definition medical personnel and hospital staff?
Yes.
Any statements or recollection that you have of any interaction with Portland Henry, the driver of that vehicle?
I do not believe I had any conversation.
Any other questions, Ryan?
Others may cross, Ms. Williams?
One question, can I do it from here?
Yes, sir.
When you left at 6:45, roughly, it was still dark outside, wasn't it?
I don't recall.
Fair enough. Thank you.
And reheard,
Okay.
is this witness excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. And you're going to take a short recess, do not discuss the case, don't comment opinion about the case, don't allow anyone to discuss the case in further, certain no research, if even those made on your chair, we'll be back with you shortly. Thank you.
All right, folks, it's recess time. I'm gonna try to get back when they come out of recess. Get the likes up. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. Like, comment, and share. And subscribe. Miss Spaz.